going? Oh my gosh. I've just jumped off a 2-hour call with our VIPs, like right at the last minute. So I'm just trying to get everything under control here. I don't even have a title on Instagram, but we'll go live on Instagram. Anyway, how are you? Sorry for my lack of organization here. I'm live on Instagram now without even a title. Anyway, it's all good. We are here to talk about your emotions and how they don't serve you sometimes. So I really want you to listen to this live because it's very important. I slipped up on the weekend. I got caught up in my emotions and I just did something I shouldn't have done. And it just really sort of, taught me a lesson about emotions and not making decisions when you're in those emotions. So I just wanted to chat about it today because this is really, really important to you guys. Not only in your business, but in life in general, to not make decisions when you're emotional. So I'll share with you what I did shortly and, what I recommend and how you kind of combat this as well in a minute. So I'll just gather myself from one call to another. But how are you guys? Are you good? Did you have a good weekend? If we've not met before, my name's Helen Martin. I'm your online crew captain. I've repositioned my hat, so I keep forgetting to sort of put it on. But I'm here to help home-based business owners, direct sellers, social sellers, those in network marketing use modern social media strategies to build their business online, but do it in a way where you're a human before a marketer. To me, what's important in my business is that I'm not spammy in any way. I'm not hassling anybody in any way. Is that I'm truly, building my business with attraction marketing strategies and with integrity. So I attract people to me. Don't get a misconception there that attraction marketing is the be all and end all. You can't just turn up on social media and not have a conversation with anybody. You still need to, converse with people and talk to them about your business. So if you think attraction marketing is just about creating social media and then the people will come, it's not the case at all. Anyway, what's happening? I'm still trying to gather my thoughts. That's your fault, VIPs. I went right down to the wire with that 2-hour call, and here I am going live on a completely different topic, and I have to change my mindset. But it's all good. This is what social media is all about. We just had an amazing call for the last 2 hours with the VIPs. But how are you? I just want to share with you. I'll say hello to a few people. We've got Cherie, we've got Beth, we've got Jane, we've got Donna, we've got Merla. We've got a vet. We've got Facebook user. If anyone appears like that says Facebook user, it just means that you need to click the StreamYard link. You're watching from my group. So you just need to click the StreamYard link at the bottom of the description, and then I'll be able to see who you are. So what's happening this week before I get into today's topic? Chill, Helen. Chill. I've done a lot of talking already today. Clubhouse tomorrow. We are talking about getting organized and time blocking. Who's still disorganized with building their business and particularly building a business online? If that's you, then you need to join us on Clubhouse tomorrow. I do want to let you know that for the first time in 4 months, I haven't done this for 4 months. My branding course is starting next week. I've done it for years. It's my signature course, my Build Your Brand course. I haven't run it for 4 months, which is very unusual. I usually run it every couple of months, but it's starting for next week. So if you have not sorted out your brand, it's never more important in 2023 to have a brand on social media because social media is too busy and you need to learn how to stand out. Then come and join me and work with me for a month. Almost a full month, and I'll help you build out your brand wherever you're building, whether that's a personal profile or business page or group. We'll go through all of that content in the branding course. So if you go to helenmartinonline.com/branding, it's as simple as that. There's the information for that. If you are a coaching community member, you get a $50 discount. So check the Facebook group over there for your discount code, or reach out to me and I'll give you that code, okay? So that is starting next week. If you need help in that area, it's one of the best investments that you can make with building a brand building on social media is to establish your brand. Otherwise, everything you're doing is useless. It just, nobody knows what you're about or what you're going to help them with. So the best investment that you can make is investing in that branding course. Okay. So I've got things ticking along, notifications going off. So let me get into this. What did I do on the weekend? Which is not the best thing that I did. I got triggered. I got triggered by something. Somebody sent me a message and I got triggered by it and I acted on it and I sent some messages back. And then afterwards I just thought, oh, you really shouldn't do that. You're a bit emotional about that one. Every time something happens, good, bad, or otherwise, I always ask myself a question. What do I need to learn from this? If you've hung around me for any period of time, you know this is a thing that for me in my life, everything that happens, good or bad, frustrating or fantastic or whatever it is, to ask myself, what do I need to learn from this? So I got triggered. I acted on it. It wasn't that bad. Like, it's not really that bad. It's just that I hold myself to a fairly high standard and it wasn't up to my standard. I didn't do anything majorly wrong. It's just not the person I like to be when I jump on something emotionally. So let's just dissect that for a minute. Do you know you make the most stupid decisions when you're emotional? You don't make rational decisions when you're emotional. You are incapable of actually evaluating. So I don't know if you can hear those dings. I've got a Mac, so when somebody's messaging my phone, it's going off on my computer. So there's just a conversation going on in a group chat. So you're not logical. You'll do things quickly and promptly, and it may not have the appropriate thought behind it. You may not have evaluated all areas of it. So it's just something, it's called emotional intelligence. Who knows they need to build their emotional intelligence a little bit more? Like, even with building a team, a network marketing team, you need to have a high level of emotional intelligence because people will trigger you. You'll recruit people that'll do nothing. You recruit people, they're all excited, and then they don't answer their messages. People will tell you they're going to do everything to build their business, and then they don't. Like, we are triggered by inactive team members all the time, but you can't act on it. You just need to be there to support people. So people will do stupid things in this industry. It's just the industry that we're in. But you have to have a very high level of emotional intelligence and bite your tongue. How many of you have said something in the heat of the moment with a partner or a child or a teammate, or you've got really frustrated with something, so you've shot off a message to your upline, and I'm so frustrated with this and all the rest of it, and all your emotions are projected on somebody else? Ever felt that before? That's what happens when you don't have a high level of emotional intelligence. Whatever triggered you, you just go and push it out onto everyone else. You're angry with the kids, you're angry with your hubby, you're angry with your wife, whatever it is, you just blurt it all out, and whatever you're frustrated with for whatever reasons you're triggered by it, you just project it out on everyone else. Go you. Was it the right thing to say or the right thing to do? Probably not. Probably not. Is it never as bad an hour or 2 or 4 or 6 or 12 or 24 hours later? Never. Never. When you sit on something for a period of time, it's never as bad as what you think in the heat of the moment. So I wanted to raise this because your emotions can literally screw up your decision making. I'll just be as frank as that. If you know you're an emotional person, you have to take a step back in the moment. You have to bite your tongue. You have to retreat. You have to change your environment. You have to stop and think, even lean on somebody rationally and go, look, this is the situation that's going on. I'm not sure if I'm reacting or overreacting. What do you think? Like, you might need somebody else's perspective to, help you dissect something, but never act in the moment of being emotionally in your life, in your business particularly. People get frustrated in this business and they make rash decisions. I'm quitting. I'm leaving all the groups. All the groups are too busy. All the chats are too busy. I'm going to leave all the groups. Like, people make those kind of decisions when they're really stressed, they're really heightened, they're in the moment, and they do all these things. And it's just don't make decisions when you feel like that. Your emotions run wild and they don't serve you when you are like that. So don't make any big decisions regarding your business when you're emotionally triggered by something. Don't make any, like, if a kid, like, how many of you got kids or grandkids that trigger you? Something happens and your reaction is to go, ah! How many times have you seen that when you go out? Like in a supermarket or something like that, a kid's playing out, and the parent's way of dealing is it. It's like, that's the worst reaction you could give to a child. They're not going to respond well to that. So how we handle ourselves kind of determines the kind of leader that you're going to be in this industry as well. Look up to your uplines. Look up to the people that are at the top of your company. Do they have emotional intelligence? I bet they do. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. Highly emotional people will not do very well in this industry. You can still be emotional, but you need to sit on it. You need to put a lid on it in your own time frame, in your own space, before you go and send a message to anybody, before you go and speak to somebody or have an argument with somebody. You just need to hold back and go, I need a breather. I'm going to say something I don't really want to say, or I'm going to do something that I probably shouldn't do, or I'm going to make a rash decision. It doesn't serve you. No matter how compelled you feel to say something, do something. Like, have you been in those moments where somebody's really pissed you off and you just want to bite back? As I said, I let myself down on the weekend. It wasn't that bad, but I hold myself to a very high standard, and I didn't raise to that level of standard because I got emotionally triggered by something. So again, I just want to reiterate to you, good, bad, ugly, otherwise, I'm constantly saying to myself, what do I need to learn from this? If I get triggered by jealousy, it happens in this industry. How many people do you look at that are winning more than you? They're getting more customers than you. They're getting more teammates than you. They're rank advancing and you're not. Jealousy is a real thing. When I find myself triggered by that, and it happens to the best of us, I will say to myself, what do I need to learn from this? It's like, okay, maybe you're not doing enough. Maybe you need to evaluate. Where are you focusing all your energy on? Maybe you're focusing all your energy on people that aren't going to do anything at the end of the day, and you're not giving your energy to people that do want your support and that are going to do some, things in this business. Like, you just got to evaluate all the time. When we do this, you learn to pivot quicker. Did I pivot really quickly? Almost in the moment. It was like, Helen, that's not you. Why did you act on that? That's nothing against you. That was out of your control. Blah, 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 but the way, like, sometimes you can't control what happens, but you need to realize that you can 100% control your reactions. Say, get that. You may not be able to control every situation. You may be triggered. You may be angry. You may be frustrated. Something might happen that is not directly your fault, but you're triggered by it. But it was out of your control. You can't fix that. But what you can fix is how you deal with it, how you respond to it, what you say, how you handle yourself, how you gather yourself before you sort of act on anything like that. So, the other thing to take with this is those of you that go into overthinking mode when you're triggered by something. You majorly overthink something. You get triggered by something, and who knows, your truth or what you interpreted as the truth may not even be the truth. How many of you get triggered by people that ghost you? You sent a message, they didn't respond, and you just presume that they're just ghosting you, whereas something could actually have gone wrong. So, like, their life is busy without you bringing up your products or your business, and their life is still busy. And they're distracted by something, or something's gone wrong, and you're going through all this overthinking about, oh, they're ghosting me and this is awful and blah, blah, blah. And you go into the overthinking mode, and then you shoot off a message accordingly, and it wasn't the situation that it was at all. We do that as humans. Have you done that before? Have you overthought a situation and it wasn't actually anywhere near the situation that you thought it was? Our overthinking as humans is is not good. We take our mind to places where they just don't need to go, totally unjustified. But, a lot of people sort of overthink things, and then you over dramatize things, and you've had a war in your head where you didn't need to worry about things at all. And this is where I would say one of the best things to go along with emotional intelligence, or building emotional intelligence and dealing with emotional intelligence and growing your emotional intelligence, is communication. Asking a question, a valid question, not a shitty question, not a, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? Like, a valid question. A really good question to understand, to say, sorry, is, can you help me understand why? This is a really good one with kids and partners in relationships. If you're having a bit of a conflict, is, I'm just really trying to understand what your thought processes were for doing that. Like with kids that do something wrong at school, or they do something at home and it was just a stupid decision on their behalf, just ask them, I'm really trying to understand why you made that decision. Can you share with me what the reason that is, so I can help you in this situation, rather than going, you know what I mean? So this is all about emotional intelligence. So if you want to be any kind of leader in this industry, recognize when you're triggered. When you're triggered, do not react. Take a step back, change your environment, allow yourself time to think, have a conversation with somebody, maybe independently, but not, this has happened. It's, hey, I'm in a situation, I'm not sure I'm handling it that well. I may actually be misinterpreting the cues. This is what I'm thinking. Can you give me your perspective? Sometimes I'll go to my husband. I haven't done it lately, but sometimes, like, I'll be stuck in a situation with somebody in my business or something like that, or something's happened and I know I'm overthinking it. And because Paul doesn't have anything to do with my business, really, he's not involved, I'll just say, look, can you just give me your perspective on something? This is what this person said, and this is what this person said, and this is the scenario, and blah, blah, and blah, blah, blah. What are your thoughts around that? And he'll say something and I'll go, yeah, you're probably right. I think I'm overthinking it. So sometimes you just need an independent, person, but just build your emotional muscle by not reacting when you're triggered emotionally. We do not make good decisions when we're emotional. So just don't do it. Just have a high level of awareness around this, that you know that to be true, that it's just not a good place to be, to make decisions when you're emotional. So just take a step back from it. Nothing is as bad as it seems, hours after the actual fact. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to check in with some comments here. Yeah, that's a really good way to deal with it as well. Facebook user, sorry, I'm not sure who that is. Instagram, I'm reading Facebook comments here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, breathe, think, and then speak. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a really good strategy of Mel Robbins, if you haven't heard of that before, when you know you need to bite your tongue, you know you're triggered by something, you want to say something, you want to yell, you want to do something, and you've got to retrain yourself. Just go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As soon as you do that, it triggers different thought processes in your brain. So the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a really good strategy, whoever mentioned that. Cherie, I agree with you, Helen. So important to have emotional intelligence. I have to hold my peace. It's not easy. No, it's not. But we're far more rational when we're not in the heat of the moment. I do struggle when I've allowed myself to be pushed to the limits, and I am. But you've also, a deeper layer to this is, why have you been pushed to your limits? And really understanding that. Why have you been pushed to your limits? Is it something within you that you need to grow a level of resistance around? Or is it, truly influences from the outside? Because a lot of why we get triggered is not to do with the other person, it's to do with us. I got triggered on the weekend because I thought it was an insult against me, and it really wasn't at all. But I got triggered because of an insecurity in me. So one of the things we need to think about when we're triggered is, why are you triggered? Go back to the question, what do I need to learn from this? What do I need to learn from this? If you remember that and you constantly have that on the forefront of your mind when you're going through hard times, it'll help you pivot, it'll help you grow, it'll help you build that emotional muscle, it'll just help you become a better person. Remember, to be successful 6-7 figure earners in this industry, you need to grow into the person that is deserving of that. And you may not be there right now because you don't have that level of emotional intelligence yet. It doesn't mean people don't slip up, because they do. But like what I do, I'll slip up, but I'll catch it almost immediately. And so I know next time I won't do what I did on the weekend, because I'm really aware and I pivot really quickly and I learn from it. So much so that I learned from it that I'm talking to you about it. So I know I won't do that again. That's the person that you need to get to. You're always going to slip up. But when you slip up and you ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this? And you grow in that moment, and from that point forward, then you start to become the person that's worthy of a 6-7 figure income in this business. Until you grow into that person, when you're highly emotional and you make bad decisions and you're unorganized and you keep blaming everyone else for your lack of success, you'll never get there. So it's really, really important. Okay. Communication is the key. That's correct, Joanne. I used to have the whole conversation figured out before I even had the conversation. Communication that's not negative or threatening. Yeah, need to work on that. I try to remind myself with the grandkids that they are only working with a 6, 5, and 3-year-old brain. It probably makes perfect sense to them. They don't have that logic at the moment. Kids do stupid things. That's why you ask the question. Instead of yelling at somebody, you say, can you help me understand why you made the decision to do that? And you have a conversation around it, and you actually make them think rather than going, blah, blah, blah. That's right, Donna. Nothing is bad as it seems in the moment. Okay. All right. I'm going to leave it there because I've talked long enough. Thanks for your feedback and your comments here. Really think about this one. Hang on, Donna. I've got you still left on the screen. You have to grow into the person that is worthy of being really successful. Really successful people have a very high level of emotional intelligence. So always ask that question, what do I need to learn from this? And then grow and pivot continually. I say this over and over again. I'm going to say it again now. It's not necessarily all the fancy social media skills that are going to help you to be successful in this industry. It's the person that you learn to become. It's the you can hold your head high with having integrity in this industry. You can be a leader to your team. You can, be inspirational and help people problem solve and all those kind of things. Like, you're just that person that people look up to. So are you a person that people look up to at the moment? Like, think about that. Think about where you can grow. Thank you so much for listening to today's live. I hope that's a little bit of food for thought for you guys. I need a little bit of kick up the bum myself on the weekend. So I just thought I'd share that with you. From my experience, no one's perfect. We just live and learn and, do the best that we can. Don't forget Clubhouse tomorrow. If you're not organised, you need to join us for that discussion. Coaching community members as well, your training this week. I'm talking about 3 main tiers of very important income producing activities for you to be successful in this business. And you may be concentrating on the wrong tier of activity. So make sure you join the coaching community training, those of you that are coaching community members this week. And don't forget the branding course is now open. We start next week. So it's only a week or so to get registered for that. If you go to helenmartinonline.com/branding, and coaching community members, you get a $50 discount for that course. So it's the only separate course, my signature course, that I do differently from the coaching community. So it's just so important in 2023 to know your brand inside out, authentically and genuinely, to have people connect with you to build your business. Okay? So I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.